Hello everyone, welcome to another craft along here at Crafters TV. Today we are going to be making one of our favourites using our template and die set from the Merry Friendsmas collection. We are going to be showing you how to make the witch. So you will have a boinging witch with a free broom that we've not stuck in your hand, but the broom is there ready for, and you can stand that up on there if you want to at the side of her, however you want to. So we're going to first of all tell you what things you need for the witch. If you've already got this collection, you'll be familiar with the Merry Friendsmas 3D box template and die set, because you'll have already made probably your Santa, your snowman and your Rudolph, amongst other things, as you've seen us do before with the frog and the little man, and we've tried all sorts of different things, and you've given us lots of ideas as well. So what you will need is some of your A4 black cardstock, some white card, some craft card and some coloured cardstock and a bit of gold glitter card. Basically you can raid your craft scrap box, so depending on what colours you've got, you might want to adjust the colours. You'll need some additional items as well. There will be a scoreboard, some scissors, pencil, tacky glue, some red tape which measures 12mm if possible, and if you want to, some googly eyes. Yeah, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off first with the template. Now I've done a little bit of preparation ready so that you don't have to see us cut everything out 4 times. Already got some little bits here ready to put together, but we will show you how to do that mechanism inside, because I know it can be a little bit tricky. And if this is the first time you've actually got your collection out of the box with your templates and your dies, then this might be a good little bit for you to watch as well, so you know how to do it. So first of all, what you need to do is, I'm using a piece of A4 black cardstock, and what we're going to do is we're going to lay this onto the card. Now what I like to do, because I've got a straight edge on the card and I've got a straight edge here on the template, I like to line it up because that saves me cutting an extra edge, and I know that that will keep it nice and straight. So what you can do as well, if you want to tape it on in certain places you can, but I'm just going to hold mine down with my hand. And we're going to draw all the way around. So just go right the way around, every side. And I've done it with a pencil. If you've got a little, you may have like a coloured pencil or a metallic pencil. Because we're using black, it might actually show up a little bit better for you on black card. But that's entirely up to you. And any pencil lines that are on there are actually going to be folded inside, so you don't need to rub them off because you just won't see them. So we're going to go all the way around, and you must remember as well to go in these little slots, because they are the little slots that we will cut to attach the elastic bands. So we need to draw and cut those. Once you've gone all the way around it, you can then do the pencil lines. This is where you will score. You can do that at the same time as you're doing the template if you like, or you can do them after, as I'm doing now. I have a change of heart. Some days I do them at the same time and some days I do them after. So now you'll see when I take this off, and I'll tilt this so that you can see it. Let me just grab that. And you'll be able to see there that we've got the pencil lines. So all we need to do now is cut that one out. I've already got 3 here, so I'm going to cut this out using my big scissors and just show you how quick and easy it is. So I'm just going to go along that edge first and then trim off this extra bit, because we can use that for some of the embellishments at a later point. Now you might be wondering how we've managed to make a witch out of this. We've not brought anything extra into this kit apart from the googly eyes. Everything you will see on that witch is done from the dies that are in your box with your elastic bands and your template. So you should, in theory, be able to create the witch as well from what you've got. All you need is some, like we say, some extra little scraps of card that you can die cut from. Okay, so we just snip along the edges here, and then I'll show you how to score it and then how to put it together. And we're going to need, for each body You'll need one body section and one head section. So you'll need 2 pieces, so 2 of the templates drawn and cut out for 1 part. So for this witch, we have used 4 pieces, so we've cut around the template 4 times. And then once we've done that, we can snip these little slots with the scissors, and then that will be done. So just go through there, and that's our last little bit, and there we go. And then I'm just going to bring in my smaller scissors just so that I can cut those little slots, because I think the big scissors are a little bit too big for me. So I'm just going to do the slots there, as you can see. And then once you've done those, we can bring in the scoreboard and we can score those lines. And then all we need to do then, in fact, we won't even need to put tape on this, because you only put tape on one of the pieces that you've cut for each one. So if you're cutting 2 pieces, you put tape on 1. If you're cutting 4 pieces, you put tape on 2, etc. There we go. So pop those over to the side. Right, so let's bring in the scoreboard. Using the scoreboard is the best way to get the nice, neat folds. If you're using it on your inches side, you'll see you have more increments on there. And if you pop your edge here that we've just cut up to there, right up to the edge, you should be able to just score in the 1/2 inch line to go along that line there. And then bring this one round. This is going to be 1 inch and 1/8. And then again back to about 1/2 inch there, and then 1/2 inch. But just follow your pencil line. If you've done your pencil lines and they're slightly different to mine, you can adjust that on your scoreboard. If you find it doesn't look like it's sitting in a groove, you can move it along until it fits in one of the grooves on the board. There we go. And then the final one there. Now the trickiest bit of this, I think this bit is actually harder than getting the elastic bands in, to be honest, is finding where the score lines are here. Because we're using black card, in fact any solid card can be a little bit tricky, but if you can very often kind of gauge where the little gaps are. If you put your tool in, you'll be able to feel if it's gone into a slot, into a groove. If not, you can just move it a little bit. Just don't press too hard until you're sure you're in a groove, like that. And then that one, probably about there. There we go. So that's all the score lines in now. And turn it over and just check you've got score line everywhere. And then what we'll do is we'll bring in the little bone folder and we'll just bend these over and go along with the bone folder. That just gives like a neater, more strong crease line on there. Okay, and we'll do that all the way around. And then we can join them together. So one of the ones I've already got done has got tape on already, and that's where we use the 12mm red tape. So as you can see, I've now got that one, and this one is exactly the same, the only difference being one's got tape and one hasn't. So what we're going to do is we're going to join these together. So the easiest way to do it, once you've put your tape on, and you're going to put your tape on the on these bits, so where your sides fold that way, that's where you need to put your tape, because that's how we get it together, because all these tabs need to be inside. So what we'll do now is we'll take this one here, we'll bend that one as well, and we're going to pop these two together like that. And the red tape is probably the best thing to use for these. I have made one with tacky glue, but again, sometimes it's better just to do it with the red tape. I didn't fold that one, so I'll do that again now. Okay, so before we join the second set of the rounded edges together, we're going to pop these bits back out of the way, just so that we can get the elastic band inside. And I know that lots of you will have already probably made some of your animals and things with this set. So you're probably used to this bit by now. So again, we're going to do that same thing with the rounded bits, not the straight panels, not the straight like tabs. And these will go together like that, and you can press those down like that. And then you can see we've got kind of this effect inside here. So let's pop that in a bit so you can see how we've got these two round panels here. Now this is where we need to put the elastic band in. Now we've been using the elastic band in a slightly different way. The idea is that you get the elastic band, you pop it inside the two of the slots, and then you turn it over like this so you've got a figure of 8. Now we've been doing it slightly different in that we've been tying, because they're big elastic bands, we've been tying it in a knot in the middle. Now this is personal preference, so it's up to you whether you do that or not. And what we're going to do then, we have that knot there. So then we're going to pop the elastic band in the slot like that. Now if you find that your slots don't line up, just put a little slot in with the scissors. It's totally fine as long as your slot is not too kind of big that it affects, you know, where the elastic band goes, because then the elastic might come out. So as long as, you know, the little slot is a bit tighter, that's better. And then once we pull that apart, then there's a bit more resistance, and that gives you a better spring when you press on top of it. It gives you like a better boing. So what we've done is I'll pull that through a tiny bit more there. That's what I wanted to do, like that. And then I will show you how that is in there. So you can see now how that is. So it's kind of gone under and then over on the other one. Okay, so what we can do now is start to join these together. So these panels will now go together like that. So we've got this one here, and then we've got 3 more to do. So line those up, put them together like that. And if you want to go along afterwards with the bone folder, you can do that, just to put a little bit more pressure on there. So we will put that on there like that. Press that together, and then if you find these have popped in as you're putting it together, then pop them back out again, because once they're in, if you seal these, they will be stuck inside, and you need to make sure that they're not inside, because then once it's all taped up, you can't get them out. So just make sure of that before you are taping these together. Just another little tip that we found helps to make it fit together better. I'll pop that there like that, and then this one out here, and then we've just got the final one here like this, and we can pop that one into there then. That one doesn't want to come out of there. I'm going to have to squash it a little bit. There we go, like that. And then we can press that there, and there we go. And then what you can do is you can bring your bone folder in again if you want to. Just go along like that on all 6 of those panels, and there we go. So then we've got one of our little sections there. Right, so I'm quickly going to put the second one together. This will be a little bit quicker, and then we can start to decorate it. So you'll find as we decorate it, I will tell you which bits I've used so that you can see what bits have made what, because obviously this was never intended to make a witch. It was meant to make some Christmas characters, and we, you know, like to find different ways of using our dies. So this is just one way you could do it. And as Halloween is upon us soon, and I know a lot of you celebrate Halloween, I think more so in the UK now than probably we've ever done. It seems to be more of a fun occasion now. Everybody just loves it. I think everybody likes just the fun side of it, and the colours with the purples and the bright greens and oranges. It's just a bit of fun. It's an opportunity for the kids to dress up and eat some treats and just be silly for a day. So I think it's good. So again, now we can put these together. Oh, nearly forgot the elastic band. I'm rushing ahead of myself there. So yeah, we need to do the elastic band before we put the tabs together. So that's because I'm thinking about Halloween and chatting away instead of looking what I'm doing. So elastic band through those slots again, and then back with this one. And just pull that through a little bit more there. Just if you want to even the elastic band up so that your knot is in the middle, then you can do that. Every time I do this, I still think it's like a brilliant, it's not an invention as such, it's a brilliant concept, and how we've never done anything like this before in craft is like, oh, how come we've never thought to do that? It's just really clever, isn't it? That you can make like a springy box that will pop back up and down. It's crazy. Okay, so let's find that bit of tape that I just took off there. There it is. So now we can start to put these together, just like we did with the first one. And then I'm just going to do it this way. Because I'm right-handed, I like to line the tabs up with my left hand, squash them together with my right. There we go. And then this one. And then the fun part begins, where we start to dress up the witch. And again, you can use whatever colours you want to. I was going to actually cut her out of purple rather than black and give her what would then have looked like she's wearing a purple dress. But I hadn't got a lot of purple card. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to do it with black and then add a little bit of purple up and down. So that's what I've done. So any Halloween colours are good. I was going to make a wizard as well. I thought, okay, yeah, I was thinking we could make a wizard because we've got the Santa beard. So, you know, we could have, yeah, well, I was thinking about doing a pointy hat for the witch. And then I thought, you know what, I'm not going to. I want to use as much as I can out of the die set itself and see if we can make it look like a witch's hat. So it's not brilliant, but if you want to do a pointed hat, you can do that as well. So now we've got two of these. So these two will sit on top of each other as normal to make the boinger. And then you see we've got the head there and the body. And if you want to just, what I did was I kind of whizzed them round a little bit to look at which was the best way to have it. Because you might have one that's a little bit cut slightly out, or with the elastic, once it starts boinging, it kind of forms its own shape. But until that point, it just, you know, you might need to just find the best way it sits. So that's, for me, I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is I didn't do this last time I did it, but I'm going to just do a little mark of a star and one there so that I know the two star bits will glue together because I want that to be the front. So I think what we'll do first of all, rather than gluing it together and then trying to do it all, I think I'll put the bottom bit together and then the top. So if I bring in the original one and I'll lay it down here so you can see what bits we've used here. So I thought to try and give her the dress, a purple dress. We'll do that. So I've cut, and I'll show you exactly what I've used. So this is one of the main bits of this whole set, really. This is the one that allows you to cut from any colour and stick it on and dress it, if you like. So that's what denotes what colour it's wearing, whether it's got a green tie on and a purple shirt and an orange jacket or whatever. That's the bit you need. So what I've done is I've cut two in purple, and so one will be the bottom of the dress and then one will be the top. So I'm going to pop this one on. Let's just get that glue out of there. It's drying up a bit just because it'll come all at once. There we go, it'll come out all at once. I like to just give it a little bit of a stab. I've got some dried glue on top there. I think because I've got the fan on as well, sometimes that dries it out a little bit. But again, you can use your tape gun if you want to. See, it don't want to come out now. Okay. It'll come out in a sec. There we go, it's coming now, I think. Sometimes you just get a little blob of it stuck in the little fine applicator tip there. So, okay, so we'll go around the edge with the glue, and that's going to sit on the bottom bit here. So that will be the bottom of a dress. Okay, and then we'll do another piece above for the top of the dress. Now the belt and the buckle are exactly as they are from the Santa Claus, because he's got his Santa outfit on, and then he's got his belt. So I've done the belt in black, so which is this one. So this is just the normal belt from the Santa set of dies, and this is just going to go on move that little bit of card there. That is just going to fit across there like that. And then the buckle I've cut from like a gold glitter card, and this, if you've got any of our speciality cardstock packs that we launched with our Opulence 12x12 pad, then this glitter card is in there, and I just thought it worked quite nicely on her dress. So we've got that there like that, and that's her buckle. And then we'll cut some buttons in a minute with a spare piece of black. Now the buttons are these 3 in a row, and they come from the snowman die. So they're perfect for the buttons, and we can get 3 cut out at once. So we'll just bring in the baby mini. The mini, yeah, mini but mighty. That's exactly right, George, what you're saying. And it's perfect for when you're doing little dies like this, because you can do it in no time. And the thing is as well, when you open, because it's not a separate plate, when you open them, the little wallet thing, you can see that your die bits are still left in there. So that makes life nice and easy. And then what we'll do, we'll just do 3 little blobs here, and we'll put 3 buttons on. So those were the buttons from the snowman, but they will work just as well for the witch's dress. Okay, so that's nice and simple. And that is all you need for her dress bit. Because I think if you leave the rest of it black, it almost looks like she's got a cloak on, doesn't it? Or a cape or something. So, yeah, I think so. I think to just have that little bit of purple on there means that it stands out a bit more, because it looks like she's got a cape on as well. So, let me just move that one before it dries. They do wobble about a bit. If you've got a sticker maker, or you've got some double-sided adhesive, you can always put that on the back of your card before you cut it out. I'll just give that a second and that'll be drying. So what I'm going to do now is bring in the head bit while we've got that drying there. So I wanted to give her a green face. And then I was thinking about, you know, like a witch's face. How on earth can we do a witch's face from this? Well, we've got the eyes that go on the reindeer, the white eyes that have got the, they've got the black eyeballs, and they've also got those big, like almost what look like false lashes. So we're keeping those. So that it's pretty much kind of simple up to this point, really. And then you have to start thinking about, well, could I use that for that? Could I use that for that? And that's where it kind of started to come together. So what I have got as well, I've got 2 of those little side pieces that you use for the face on the Santa. So when you make the Santa, you've got these little bits here that kind of just where his beard comes from. So we've cut 2 of those. Now you've only got 1 die, so one is going to be kind of the right way around, and the other is going to be a little bit more like the wrong way around. But it doesn't matter, because we're putting hair on there as well. So it's not going to be seen, but it just gives us that extra green bit of face on there before we stick her hair on. So this one will go the opposite way. So we just pop this on here like this. And then, once that's on there, like that, we've got like sides of her face there. And if you want to, if you feel like it's not sticking, you can always pop it down there and put some extra pressure on, which you can't do when it's like assembled and sat in that boingy position, if you like, if that sounds right. But you can put extra pressure on like that. I mean, I think when I was putting this witch together here, I actually had it flat like that. I actually had one of my die cutting machines partially on it to give it some weight while I was gluing bits on. So there's always a way around it. Right, so then I was thinking, we need the eyes on, and we also need her nose. So if I get the eyes, and these are the reindeer eyes, so we're going to put the reindeer eyes on in position. Just let me grab my other one, which is there. So I think the only thing I haven't pre-cut here is the mouth. And I'll show you how to do that, because this one was a little bit tricky, but I did manage to do it. So we get the eyes on here, and then the eyelashes. and then I'll show you how to create that little nose, because we had to do a like crooked nose. And right, so let's get the eyelashes out, because I love the eyelashes. These are one of my favourite bits actually. There we go. That's the eyelashes there. Let's get those. So these will sit above the eye, and they kind of go kind of curved along the top of the eye like that. So don't worry about letting those just hang over the edge, because that's absolutely fine, because remember it goes flat as well when we press it down, so it's not going to harm anything that's sticking out. It's not going to harm it. Okay, so we pop that one on there like that, and those are the eyes. Right, so to do the nose on the snowman die, we've got the carrot nose here, which is just basically a triangle. So I've cut that out from green, and then what I've done is I've just folded it just fractionally along my nail. Now you can score it if you want, but it's a bit tricky to score something so small. So the other thing you can do, if you fold those corners down like that, what you'll get is you'll get like two. If I show you against the black, you might be able to see there how it's got two little bent corners. That will allow you to stick that onto the face with that point. But then obviously she's going to have a crooked nose, so we need to do this, don't we? We need to bend the nose to make it a little bit more witchy looking, and you can do that just with your fingers or your fingernails. Make it a little bit spooky like that, and then what we'll do, we'll put a tiny bit of glue on there and on there, and I'm going to take a bit off with my finger, just like that, just to smooth it out, and then that one will just go in place just below the eyes here, like that. Okay, so, and then we can do the little nose like that. Let's press that down in place. And I feel like it's easier to do it with tacky glue. You could do it with hot glue, but I feel like doing it with tacky glue is probably your best option, because we're bending it. And if you need to put a little bit of pressure on for a minute just to hold it down, it can even go flat at this point, because once it's dry, because it's folded and scored, you'll be, no, it's not scored, but it's folded, you'll be able to lift this back up in a minute. So let's just leave that there like that for a second, and that will then bond. So you can see now it's getting, does look a bit like an owl at this point. So this again is a good indication of, well, I could make this into an owl by using brown and cream, etc. And doing, you could even use, if I bring in another triangle like this, just to give you the idea, I've got another triangle here. If you cut lots of these triangles and did them in cream, you could overlay them to create like a feathered effect if you were doing an owl. So that's always a good way as well. So we'll leave that for a second, because what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do the hat. Now the hat is the Santa hat, exactly as you see it here. I've cut it from purple, and then what I've done, on the snowman section here, you've got like a tag. So I've cut the tag, and then what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little piece off the tag. So I bring the tag in, it's like a tag, it's like a bauble. What we're going to do is snip this bit off here. So we're just going to cut that little section off there, get right up to that little hanging bit there, and that gives us a circular section there. And then what you can do, I'm going to just bring in my scoreboard here. I can find my score tool, that is, it'll be on here somewhere. Let's see, there it is, it's just dropped out of the little place. So what I'm going to do is do a tiny little score line along here, so that that can then sit on the hat just like we stuck the nose a minute ago. So let's do that. Again, you can do a bit of tacky glue on there, and that will hold that onto the middle of the circle. So we're going to pop that onto there, and then let's do that. So that gives us kind of the witchy hat. So I'm going to give that a second to dry, and then once that's dry, we'll put the little, we're going to do exactly the same as we did with the belt, but that will go across the hat. Okay, so, and with this one as well, you can press it down and let it dry flat. You can put something heavy on it and let it dry flat. But again, if you were doing, say, you know, Wee Willie Winkie or someone in the pyjamas, again, you could use that as the hat to put on the head to create as a, you know, as Wee Willie Winkie. So we'll pop that to there while that dries. Now the next thing, while I've got the scoreboard handy, I figured that she needed some sleeves. If we were trying to create this bit to look like a cloak, she needs some sleeves. So again, cut 2 of these panels out that we used here in the black, and then bring in the scoreboard again. And then what we're going to do is we're going to score down the middle. So roughly find the middle of this piece. And what I've done, I've just lined it on the scoreboard because it's a bit of an unusual measurement. So I've overlapped here, overlapped the 1, overlapped the 3, and I'm going to score down the 2, if that makes sense. All right, and we do that with both of them. Okay, and then, so let's do the same again there. Down 2, like that. Okay, then we can pop that to there again. And then we're going to fold these in half, and these are going to give us our witch's sleeves. So, like that. So now we've got 2 sleeves. So you can see if I bring in the original one, she has like big sleeves here that go like bigger at the bottom. Now I wanted her to have some kind of long fingers. The only way I could do the fingers was by using, let's bring in the other die set, which is the die set from the snowman again. So by using the stick arms here, so these are like twig arms for the snowman, if you use those, cut them from green to match your face, then you end up with something like that, and you glue that into there, and that creates like a little thin fingery hand, like a witch would have long, like bendy fingers. So we pop that into there, and then we bring the sleeve down with glue on. So again, we put glue on the sleeve like that. If you want to put a pad in there, you could, to make the sleeve look more open, but I think if you glue it, it holds that hand in as well. It gives it a bit more support. So that is one sleeve with a hand in there. We'll press that down nice and hard like that, and then that will go on the side of the body once we're ready for that. And then I've got another one which I've cut in green, and we're going to do the same here as well. So with this one, we'll do a bit of glue on the what equates to being a wrist, like that, and then we will put this on here, like that. Okay, and that will be her hand for her left hand, so that will go on the other side of the body. So now we've got 2 arms and 2 hands. And then what we need to do next is we're going to bring in the, let's see if I've got another one of those for the hat, and another buckle. Yes, I have. So we'll put these on the hat now. So we can do a piece across here. We just measure it, trim off the bit we don't need, put the buckle on, like that. Okay, that will go on there, like that, and like that. And then get a little buckle on there. Move that up a little bit. This is reminding me of one of the hands for like the hats for the 7 dwarves, actually, because they had those funny little like hangy hats, didn't they? That just like fall off the end of the head. And then let's put that on there. Okay, like that. So that's our little hat. And again, pop it to one side just like that, a bit dry with the arms. And then the next thing we need to do, so we need to bring in the antlers from the reindeer. So we've cut these from orange, and this is going to be her hair. So we're going to stick this on the side, and you don't need to glue the whole of it, we just need to glue the like top half. And so we're going to pop one bit there, like that down that side. And then obviously because you've got antlers that work both ways, we've got 2 sets of antlers for right hand side and left hand side. So we can do that. Let's pull that one down a little bit. So they just come down the side of those green bits on the face. And then we'll just add 1 or 2 more of these. Like that. So that's 1 there. And then we're just gluing them together at the top. So it's not, you know, too difficult. We'll just give her orange hair. I'll put a bit more glue on there just in case. Like that. And then we'll do another one, just so we've got quite a bit of hair on there, because a witch is known for having long, straggly hair. So we can bring that one down there a bit longer. And this one the same. There, like that. And then we'll do 2 more, so it's nice and thick. You could do it all the way around the head if you wanted to, but I'm just going to do it like that. So you could make it really long, but I'm just going to keep this one a little bit shorter and higher up the head. Like that. Okay, so there is her hair. So that's how you create a hair. And now we need to pop her eyes on. So let's bring in our little Googly Eyes. We'll pop these on with some glue as well. It's just a matter of gluing it all together. And then we need to give her a broom. So I'll show you how the broom is done as well. So we've got 2 eyes there. Now this nose should be dry now. So we can start to lift it up a bit and shape it a little bit more. So it's a bit more pointy and a bit more kind of evil. Yeah. And then we can put her hat on top. So you can see now she's starting to come to life. So just remember, when you're sticking the hat on, you only need to do like half of the brim, because the other half of the brim is going to hang over the front of her head. So, you know, something like that would work. Like that. And that's going to sit on there, just on top of her head, like that. So we'll just pop her to one side for a minute. And now I'll show you how to do the broom. So for the broom, you need one of the little, let me get it's the belt actually. It's this bit here. It's Santa's belt. So all you need to do with that is cut 1. You can cut 2 if you want to put 2 together, make it a bit more sturdy. And then what you're going to do is you're going to add, I've cut these from Kraft. You're going to just add these just similarly to how we did the hair then. So we're just going to pile these up on top to make what looks like a broom. And we've got some cut from the right side of the Kraft and some cut from the wrong side. So we've got a bit of a difference in colour. So let me find the ones I've cut from the other side. I think that might be one. There. Can't pick them up out of the tray. Let's grab that one. So it just gives a little bit of a difference when we put it all together. Like that. And we'll do another one there. But again, with this now, I'm seeing if you did it the other way, you create like a tree, almost like a winter tree. You know, so there's lots of ways of using these dies that you don't always see until you start messing with it. Now, there's another piece which I got, which is this piece, which is from the top of it's like the tie that goes around the sack here, that's Santa's toy sack. So I've cut that, and what I'm going to do is just bend the end, the narrow end, around the, just around on itself. And then I'm going to put that at the top of the broom, like that. And then you can see now that we've got the wider end is at this end. Bit of glue on there, and that's going to fold around there. That's going to give the effect of the string around the top of a broom. So I just hold that for a second. So you can then see how that becomes a little broom. Okay, like that. And then while that's drying, so I've got bits drying all the time, I've cut 2 of these, which are the ears from the reindeer. In fact, I've cut 4 of them. And what we're going to do, we cut 4 of these and 2 of the inner ear from green, the bigger ones from black. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick these together. So we're going to stick the green onto the black here, like this, and these are going to like represent a socks. Okay, so these are going to be a socks, like this, and this one as well. I'll pop that one on there. So they're a green socks that are in a shoe, so they're effectively a feet in a shoes. Then what we do with these, we take the scissors, and we cut a slot down there just under a centimetre and bend that back and bend that one back. That then creates like a bit like a witch's boot. And then we will put some glue on there, and that will go on there, and it will line up with the one underneath, but it will still give the effect of a shoe with a sock in it, or a green foot if her skin is green, obviously. And then we do the same with the second one. So that gives us our feet, which will poke out underneath. So again, another slot down there, like that, and like that. Bend those over, and then glue on here. It's so easy once you've got all your bits cut out and you start to see, oh, could I do that with that? Would that work as a shoe? You know, what would work as a shoe? What would work as hair? It's just a matter of sitting down and looking at those dies in a slightly different way. So we've got that and that. So now we've got 2 shoes. They're almost like slippers, aren't they? So what we need to do now is we can stick these underneath the bottom of a body just by adding a bit of glue there and a bit of glue on this one. And then the easiest thing to do, I think, is lift that one up so they're like that. And this one to here, like this, because they're just going to stick on the base, like that. So that then we can see a bit of the green when we tilt it down. Once that's dried, I can pull those shoe flaps down, and then you'll be able to see just a tiny bit of green, like we can on this here, because then you can move them a bit. But just for a second, just need to let those dry first, and then. So all we need to do now is we can stick her arms on. So we're going to do her arms, again, bit of glue, because this is going to just stick onto the side of her body. Like that, one arm there. Okay, so let's pop that on there like that, and give that a second to dry, because it does need a minute or 2 to bond. Same with this one. Put it on that side there, like that. So she's got a cute little arms and hands there. I'm just going to move that up a bit. And again, if you want to flatten it down like that and press these on further, then you can. You know, that's the good thing about it going flat. Let's pop that back on there in place. Like that, because you've got that option. You could put a book on top or something heavy, you know, just to hold those in place, or just the weight of your fingers, probably in the pushing on there, should hold those together. Okay, right, so what we'll do next is we will add some glue here to the bottom, because this is where it will join. And again, if you want to use hot glue for this, you can. I'm just going around the edge because I want the edges to grab more so than the middle, because if you put glue on the middle, it grabs in the middle. These can still stay lifted up slightly. Okay, so we put a head on there like that, and I'll be able to show it to you in a second. So what we need to do now, we just need to give her that little mouth. So the only way I could think of doing the mouth was by bringing in the, now then, I think it was it this one? It was this one, I think, yeah. So this is the snowman mouth. And by bringing in a little bit of orange card, which I'll do now. And I was thinking, you know, a witch tends to have like a, when you see her, she's got like a mouth with some teeth missing, hasn't she? So the best way, I think, to do a mouth is to do like a black mouth, which would show up on the green face. So I'm giving her some orange lips just to go with her hair. So let's do that set of lips. So we need one set there and we need another set. So we need two like sets of lips. And this is to make that kind of crooked smile she's got, which makes her terrifying. When I sent the picture over yesterday to Jamie, who was going to set up all the photography and everything and the list of tools and things we'd used, I thought, oh gosh, if he opens this picture up and looks at this, he's going to be terrified. He's going to think, what on earth is this? She sent me just a picture of this witch with a scary face. So for a mouth, I didn't know what to use for a mouth, so I've gone with this here. Now, I'm not sure what bit that is on the Santa. It is, I'm not sure which bit it is, I can't see at the moment. But there's this strange little shaped piece. In fact, I'm going to use a smaller piece. Yeah, it makes it look like a mouth is a little bit uneven. Because it's a bit wider at one side than it is at the other. So we'll cut that. And then what we'll do is we'll pop her lips around it. So let's just pull that piece out. So you can see that's a bit like a mouth shape now in a way. So I must make sure I put these dies back and then they go on there. That one goes on there and that one goes on there. I don't want to lose those. Like that. So the bottom lip here, if you just glue it a little bit, it's more or less the right size. It's more or less the right length in fitting along that bottom edge like that. So it does just go just along the bottom with a bit of manoeuvring. You can make it fit like that. Okay. And then what I've done with this one, I've just put glue on half of it. And that's going to stick just onto there, like that. And then I'm going to trim that excess bit off there. So we'll trim it along there, like that. And then we will do the next bit. This bit here, we can stick onto here. So, bit of glue there, like that. And what we do is just line that up with that end piece there. So it kind of makes the smile go on a little bit of an angle, actually. Like that. Snip that off there, like that. And then what we can do, and this is probably the trickiest bit, actually. This is the faffiest bit, because what we're going to do is we're going to take a little strip of card, like that, and we can give her, just cut in some tiny triangles. Now, if you bought, oh no, what was it from? It was from, I think, on our toddler collection. I think it was Milo the Monster. I think he had some little, yeah, I think he had some little teeth like this. So if you've got that die set, you can just cut yourself some teeth like this. So we're going to put a little tooth in there. She does look a bit vampire-ish, but we'll give her another tiny tooth. We'll do that one. So again, just tiny triangles. If you do 2, she'll look like a vampire. If you do 3, she'll look a bit more like she's just got unkempt teeth. Like she's not been doing her dental procedures every morning. Okay, let's just pop. So this is the faffiest bit because it's, okay. It does look like a vampire now, but if you were going to do a vampire, that's a good way to do it. And let's do that. We'll do a shorter tooth this time. We'll hopefully get that maybe in the middle, but at the bottom. So we've got a tooth coming up in between there, like that. And I am going to just trim that one, I think, that's coming out over the top. Ooh, let's just grab that one. We'll trim a bit off there, I think, so that it kind of fits in a mouth. There we go. Now, if you wanted to, you could put the mouth here, but I kind of liked it up there. I think because the body goes inwards, like the chin, and a witch would normally have a long chin, wouldn't she, anyway? When we see them in cartoons, I mean, what I did was I went onto the internet and I just typed in cartoon witch, and it comes up with like pictures of cartoon witches. If you click on images, brings up them, and they really are a good help when you're doing something like this, whether it be a witch or a bear or a... Yeah, you definitely get great ideas. George is agreeing with me on that one in my ear. To, you know, sometimes you can, it can just give you that little bit of inspiration or idea that you need. And then what you could do as well, if I grab, is there one here? Yes, there is. We could grab, because I think a dot would be too, done with the a circle, done with the little dies would be too big. But we can give her like a couple of little warty bits, can't we? Like that. I didn't do one on this one, so I'll do one on this one. I'll give her one on, put one on her nose here. Let's give one on her chin as well, like that. Now, the things you do, the detail you go to make something crazy. Right, okay. It is, it's a bit fun, isn't it? It's a bit fun, it's just something a bit different. So what we can do now, you can actually attach that. I did try, I wanted to see if I could actually give her the broom when she's flat, like that. So I did push her down, and I think if I put the broom kind of there, up her sleeve, she can hold the broom like that, and it will actually remain part of her. But if you want to, we'll bring the other one in as well, you can do it so that the broom just sits there and you put it on whichever side you want to, it just becomes an extra bit. But you can see there we've got two crazy witches. I'll stand them up to the front camera and then you can see them. So this one was the original one here with her broom, and this one was the one that we've just done on the craft along. There's not a massive difference in them, but they look like they're ready to, you know, mix a spell in the cauldron. And I am just thinking now, if you did just one of these and put a handle on, that could be a cauldron, couldn't it? Just the bottom bit could be a cauldron that they could be standing around. So there you go, there's your witches. If you do make a witch, then do please send us some pictures. I'll put some pictures on the Crafters TV page, or and that would be absolutely amazing to see what you've done. And if you've not done a witch, if you've done something else, we're eager to see your pictures of what you've done with these, with the little boingers, because they are quite funny, aren't they? They are funny, we do like them, and we've had lots of fun with them. I mean, no doubt we'll have lots more fun as time goes on. That's it for the craft along this time. We shall hopefully see you in another craft along very soon, but otherwise don't forget to tune in to Crafters TV every day at 12 o'clock, Monday to Friday, where we'll be bringing you great deals, great ideas, great demos, and great fun and company. So thank you for joining, and I hope to see you soon.